Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Strategic Command World War II, World at War. It is episode number 56 in our Let's Play series of this game. The war is continuing into the summer, or at least the early summer of 1944, or at least that's what we'll see in this turn. The offensives in the Pacific are going reasonably well. We have a large number of troops on the island of Luzon in the Philippines. We've retaken Okinawa, and that's the situation right now. But in the Eastern Front, things are going very poorly. On the continent, things are going very poorly, and so we're considering a retreat in some of those places. With that being said, guys, I'm not going to ramble on and on and on about a long-running series like this. You can obviously check out the previous episodes if you're interested, but let's jump right into it. This was taken from a live stream on my Twitch channel from a couple of days ago, and let's get going. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump on to the next turn. We'll move into June, and we'll see how bad things get. More attrition for Chinese forces and British forces in China, or I guess those might have been Indian forces. Foreign ministers reporting success, convincing Turkey to join the Allies. Still a long ways away for that. That was a couple hundred MPPs I wasted, I think. UK develops logistics level 3. USA develops advanced level fighters 4. Anti-submarine warfare research, a breakthrough. Didn't quite get to the next level, but I think that'll be important for clearing the sea lanes with all of these Axis submarines, Japanese and German alike. Let's see what happens. I'm going to say knock on wood because I don't want it to happen again, but I haven't seen any Japanese kamikazes since the very first kamikaze strike. Meanwhile, Japanese sub there attempted to attack our carrier but didn't do any damage. Good news also, the Japanese carrier looks like it moved west. I'm guessing to the Chinese bases, but as long as it keeps moving around, it can't reinforce. So that's good. Also, it doesn't seem like they have a lot of air power in Japan. They definitely have a lot in China. You can see some air power there in Korea, hitting both our troops on Okinawa and our troops in China. Maritime aircraft in Korea hitting our subs, or trying to, not doing any damage there. Japanese tactical air just finished off an Indian unit there, or north of Hainan Island, south of Pakoi, destroyed it. German TAC air hitting British troops in Albania. German TAC air hitting the troops along the Moscow front. Anti-aircraft fire is at least slowing the German advance, or the Japanese advance through central southern China. Central southern, is that oxymoronic? A lot of artillery hitting the northernmost corps on the western defensive line near Moscow. More V weapons striking Maiden, Portsmouth on the British coast. I have not played much of Warplan XZ. Honestly, I played Warplan, and the first time I played it, it kind of bounced off me. I felt like I enjoyed my experience playing Strategic Command much more than I did with Warplan. I think Warplan is more detailed. It's definitely more in depth. But it just wasn't as clear why things were happening in that game. And so I know there's definitely quite a few people who I know who like the game, but it's just, I don't think it's for me. Which is ironic for me to say that because I play War in the Pacific like crazy. So you would say like, oh, a game doesn't tell you what's going on. You'd think you wouldn't like War in the Pacific, but I don't know. I think the thing I enjoy about War in the Pacific, probably more than any other game right now, is the way that logistics are, the way that that game, I think, tells the story of the Pacific theater better than any other game I've ever played. And it really sort of highlights the sheer vastness of the Pacific theater. And I don't even mean because it's like micromanagey, because it obviously is. There's definitely things from a game design perspective it could do better. But I've never seen a game really hone in on this idea that, hey guys, the Pacific theater from India to China all the way to the U.S. West Coast, like this was the largest theater of war ever to be fought on. I mean, if you can even call it one theater, right? It's really a subset of multiple theaters. But the war in the Pacific was in terms of geographic scale, was the largest, most challenging, I think, theater to fight on in history. You know, the Eastern Front was a bloodbath, but if you look at the Pacific Ocean, it's just so huge and massive, and trying to supply hundreds of thousands of millions of troops across that entire theater was such a logistical undertaking that I don't think I've ever seen any other game try to do that. And I think that game does a really good job of storytelling also, especially when you're playing against other humans. So I think that's one of the things that really appeals to me about it. Rylover, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciated. All right, so that turn wasn't as disastrous. Albania surrendered. We lost a British unit there, so that kind of sucked. Oh, that's concerning. Motor torpedo boats in Norway? I don't need them to start building up a surface fleet. That's new. I don't think the Germans start with any motor torpedo boats, so that must mean they're investing in their navy now. All right, so the U.S. gets the 2nd Ranger Special Forces. China gets another corps this turn. It's June 16th of 44. We're going to upgrade these Chinese troops here in Quichao. We'll leave these guys in their level 4 entrenchments. We'll reinforce these guys in front of Chongqing. These Japanese troops here have no supply. This corps is worthless. Their morale is worthless too, so that's probably why they're so bad. These Japanese troops have 7 morale and 1 supply. Come on! Alright, we pulled these guys back a little bit. We'll reinforce them there. I can do elite reinforcements for these guys again, but maybe I'm probably better off purchasing for the Chinese another... Well, we can't afford another Chinese corps yet. Probably better off saving that money for China then. We do have a new corps that we can deploy. So I think we'll deploy this guy here along the roadway to Quichao. Local crack house. Thanks for the follow. And IA strategist, thank you for the follow as well. Okay. So that's China. Chinese theater is complete. All right, so the supply here did drop, or at least the port facilities dropped down to 1. So I think that's going to cause the Japanese troops here supply to begin falling as well. I can also try and bombard. Doesn't seem like, you know, we got like 20% odds there that bombardment will be successful. It's probably not worth it. Where did they move their carriers? Fuzhou, maybe? No? Where the hell did they move their carriers? Mexicans, thank you very much for the sub. 3 months there now. Appreciated. Well, shit. Could be off Taipei. No? Nope. I don't know where they moved their carrier, which kind of sucks, because I was hoping I could hit it. Meanwhile, bad weather's going to hinder air operations against Manila. Not like it matters, because our tactical air force is worthless against ground targets. That's so frustrating. Hey, we got a hit there. I don't know what we hit. Did I actually do damage to them? Or was it my air unit suffering casualties? No, we're getting a little bit of damage here. We also are hurting their morale. So that's one positive aspect, which will reduce their readiness and their effectiveness. All right, those carriers are all done. Don't I have one more carrier? Oh, I've got more carriers that I can use up here. Nice! Okay, so now the air power is finally... Oh, come on. Just as I say that. It's working! Nope. Worked on one hit. All right, so they're down to 3. Crap, I can't bombard. God damn it, die! Oh, come on. I got him 1 from death. Oh, crap. I can't bring those guys in. Yeah, but Mexicans, they'll be able to reinforce potentially. Granted, they'll lose, like, all their experience. Let's try this. Got him! Boom! Alright, so Manila is going to fall. I can't take it this turn. Oh, yes, I can. Manila is ours! Freedom-loving people everywhere, I have returned. Something, something, something. Rise and strike, rise and strike, rise and strike, blah, blah, blah. I'm a windbag. Alright, so Manila falls. Another national morale objective for the Japanese. That is gone. If we take a look at the Japanese national morale, it's still decent. I mean, it's not good. It's like 55%, which I think is the baseline for their unit morale, which impacts their fighting effectiveness. The Germans, on the other hand, are like 116. The Americans are 84. The British are 68. Yikes. The Soviets are 53. Woof. Italy's at 100 because they're out of the war. Okay, so that's a good result for us. Do they have to keep garrisons on all these rear cities? Not in Hong Kong, they don't. Hong Kong is empty. Interesting. I really want to take Brunei, but I don't have any way to supply it. God, what am I supposed to do with these guys? We could move these up north and try and take some Chinese port cities in the rear, and that might hurt their ability to advance further into China, but it could also be signing the death warrant of these units. Alright, so we'll move this tank unit. I think we'll move it to Marianas. It's going to have to reload itself. Meanwhile, this tank unit can upgrade to level 5 tanks. We'll also add the level 2 air defense. So these 2 units are both level 5 tanks. Can't reinforce these guys, which is frustrating. Alright, so they've got their strike. Both of these units have their strikes back. This guy does not yet. I'm not sure why. We'll have to figure that out. I don't want to attack with a level 9, but I now have 3 infantry units and 2 armored units and a headquarter unit that I could swing toward Japan. Also, with taking out Manila, I can probably move south toward Davao, which is another national morale objective, and potentially use the British there. Another option is to swing some of those American strong amphibious units against Brunei, which again is important from, like, it's worth 5 MPPs. Miri is worth 15 MPPs because of its oil value. And I think Tarkin is probably worth 15 MPPs as well. So those are valuable bases. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to move these British troops around to Tarkin to take that. What's the supply situation here? 411. We'll see if I can actually take Tarkin from the south with West Force unit. Meanwhile, this transport... I wish you could change a transport to amphibious, like once they're already on board. Alright, so let's send this guy to... Where should we send him? We might need to reinforce India, too. That's the other thing. Alright, we can reinforce this paratrooper unit. So we'll get it back up to full strength. Yeah, so this core is going to die, but that's okay. That's its job at the moment, or that headquarters unit. Chungking should hopefully hold out for another couple more turns. So China survived this turn. We're going to move these guys south to start reducing the port at Davao, which should hurt Japanese supply because they do have a unit down in Davao. Cruisers are absolutely worthless. Also, my battleships very badly need to head back to port to receive, to be repaired. Partially reinforce that cruiser. I'll send this down here. This battleship's already... Ooh, if he sends a sub against him, that's a goner. Okay. Alright. So... I think that does it for the Pacific Theater this turn right now. The only question is whether we send the Rangers to the Pacific to try and help deal with the invasion of Japan or not. The other thing is I think we'll have to take Seoul even if we take mainland Japan, because that's another alternate capital. Also, they have so many units still alive that they may not surrender even if we take their city. Even if we take their island, because the way this game works is every unit that's still alive adds something to national morale, although sometimes there's certain rules. Who owns Vietnam? Vietnam is neutral at the moment. Japan never took it. So they can't... So it's nobody's right now. We could try and take Vietnam as a way to get a little bit of extra income. It's probably worth a fair amount. But my concern with doing that is, one, it might spawn some defensive units. Two, it would give the Japanese an easy invasion route south to try and get back into Thailand, which is an allied unit, and Malaya. We'd kind of give them an invasion highway there. So I don't think I want to do that. Okay, so... Alright. So these German units in front of Perm are in rough shape, so there we go. We just attacked with an army there, destroyed one. Wish I could do something about these units that have terrible supply, but apparently I can't hurt at all. Because reasons, I guess. Oh, that was dumb. Shattered! Of course. Reinforce this guy. These guys have no entrenchment, actually. So we'll do this. We'll attack that in core. Zero to 9. You're going to get wiped out. I can't even upgrade those bombers. What the hell? All right, we'll move there. I didn't want to use the force march because it really does hurt your units, but we did it. Okay. Alright, so mostly just defensive stuff on the Moscow front. German destroyers off the northern Russian coast. Alright, the German fleet apparently is just chilling up here in the north of the Norwegian Sea. Here's an interesting thought. They don't have any fighter cover over Norway, do they? Man, our aircraft, we really lost a lot of aircraft there, though. Probably not worth it. I mean, I'll shield them with subs so their subs can't get to it, but that's not quite the exchange rate that I had hoped. I mean, I don't know how much damage I really did to them. I guess I can go check it out. Yeah, not much. Maybe by moving these units north, we'll draw the German Navy south. There's also the potential, though, that I open the channel up for invasion of some kind. Okay. All right. Canadian destroyer over this way. We'll send these guys east. Keep those convoy lanes clear. Meanwhile, looks like the Germans aren't advancing in Spain this turn. I didn't even realize that. They didn't really push there at all. So one might wonder where their units went. Why would they leave this headquarters unit here? Upgrade these tanks to level 5 because we can. Well, here's the thing. We have no Canadian forces in Spain, so we should at least pull that Canadian headquarters unit out, because the way everybody's described it to me, they don't add anything if they don't have any of their national units that they're helping. These fighters, meanwhile, can upgrade to level 4, so we'll get them to be a little bit better. God, I don't have any reinforcement ability for like half these troops. Anti-air can upgrade. Okay. The interesting thing is the Germans moved south into Iran and they've taken Tehran, but they haven't pushed any further. So I'm sending that one garrison unit north to see if they're really still there. Terrain in Spain falls mainly in the plain. I mean, I've heard this. Advanced fighters level 4. Maybe that's why my carriers suck. I haven't upgraded their air wings at all. I think I've upgraded the American carrier air wings, though, haven't I? Somewhat. Not as far as I probably should. Alright. So the Americans, I'm going to save some money. Well, no. We need to deploy our new units. So the American Rangers, we're going to deploy those. Can I deploy them in Hawaii? It would be really nice if I could deploy them in Hawaii. Alright, so I think I want one more unit in the Pacific. So we'll deploy the Rangers here, and then we're going to use them in Japan. So we'll throw them on long-range transports, which means we're 3 turns away. It'll be a fall landing in 1944 in Japan, which also means that for my research for the U.S., should I spend anything? Ground attack weapons. Should probably spend a little bit more there. Long-range aircraft probably could use some stuff there. So that's going to spend up my American money. We're almost to level... Well, no, we just started level 5 fighters. We've already got level 5 tanks. ASW is almost to level 2. That'll be nice. Heavy bombers would be nice too, but... I've already got 2 chits in industrial technology, 1 in production. Okay, so for the British... Fib War, I really would love to get them to level 3. Germany and Iran, yep. That is sorcery. Damn right it is. All right, so 150 points for India, actually, because they lost their unit that was eating up their reinforcements. So what I can do now is I can go ahead and I can buy an Indian Special Forces unit. So we'll get that in August. So that should help us build our Indian forces back up. So when China eventually does fall, which is very likely, we can resist them a little bit in India. Okay. Also, Germany's Navy, if they've got 20 ships. I'm really curious what the breakout of those ships are. We've spent 2,300 more on research as the U.S. than Germany has. Britain's way behind, though. All right, meanwhile, Britain has 299. So I think what I'm going to do for the British... What do I want to do here? I don't know if the British need more headquarters or if they just need... You know what's funny is we do have that headquarters, that Sudan headquarters in Malaya, I think it is. I don't know what to do with my British money. Maybe just spend it on British units? What are their tanks? They get to level 4 tanks? We get a discounted 7th Armored since it's been destroyed. So do that. It's like our first British unit we've been purchasing in a while. We'll deploy it in England. You know, honestly, I think that's what I'm going to do. Is I hate to hand Spain over to the... The British are getting the income for Spain. I hate to hand it over to the Germans. But I think that's what we have to do. I really do think that's the best approach. I think we need to pull back to England. We need to guard against a cross-channel invasion. We need to destroy the German fleet, and then once the German fleet's destroyed, then we can land probably wherever we want. Maybe even go for Denmark, go for Norway, go for some vulnerable extremities with short fronts to defend from. That might be the better route to go. Not sure, but we'll see. But I think we'll have to do that for another time. So I do appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode, another stream of Strategic Command World War II, World at War. We conducted 2 turns tonight. The Soviets I should probably also spend some stuff on. So I'm going for the cheap reinforcements for the Soviets, I think is the direction to go. Although the armies lack striking power. But we just purchased 3 more corps, so you can see we're loading up on the reinforcements for the Soviets here in May, June, July, and August. Hopefully, assuming the Soviets don't surrender. That should hopefully continue to delay the Germans and maybe get us a little bit stronger there. Lend-Lease is working for us. But that's going to do it, guys. I appreciate you tuning in for yet another episode. I'm not sure what we'll stream next. It'll probably be a few days before I get my next War in the Pacific turn back from XTRG. So we'll see. I mean, we could do another Strategic Command stream. I think we might also look at returning back to Waterloo, Scourge of War Waterloo. But I'm not sure yet. There's another game that's called Strategic Mind Blitzkrieg, which is kind of like in a similar vein of like Panzer Corps, which I've kind of been toying around with playing. I don't know. I've kind of been playing a lot of those kind of games, and I was thinking about trying to finish this series first, but this one may drag on a bit because even if Russia falls, even if we're driven off the continent, I think the Pacific theater is going well enough that it's unlikely that we'll completely lose for a little while. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see where we land next time. Until next time, though, this is the Historical Gamer, once again, saying thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm out.